And we are now...
I just started mine.
Actually, did I give you permission to...
Yes, yep, I started recording.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I gave Alex though permission also. But so we are
Oh,
now...
Alex doesn't use Zoom.
Oh, that's right. So we are beginning session 10 of the Sphere of Power campaign, Will of the Pharaoh. So it is now early morning on the second day of the month. As I promised Alex, I will go ahead and reshare the time and date. So basically, after almost a week of exploring the desert, you find a visit from what appeared to be the spirit of an ancient pharaoh named Amun-Re. Yes, it is Amun-Re, not Amun-Ra. I confirmed that this week. But after his visit, you finally found his temple and pyramid. And you guys have ascended the steps onto the main patio and open the doors into a corridor and what appears to be a temple area or worship area of some kind. So just a reminder of first, well, not that was the stairs leading up, but more relevant, sorry. So this is the corridor that you're currently in. 10-foot wide corridor extends from the outer doors 20 feet to a second set of double doors. You open the doors and we're greeted with this 30-foot wide by 40-foot long room is lit by torches attached to the walls. Torches cast flickering light on the very decorative wall carvings and the high dome ceiling. A human figure in vaguely priestly garb stands at an altar in front of a huge statue, where he is reading from a large white book with gleaming metal fittings. 5 other humans, dressed like the 2 guards on the temple porch, stand around him, casually studying the wall carvings. So let's see. So the first thing is that I did share this. Let's see if that comes up for you, Alex.
Yeah, I get that one.
All right, well,
And that's the book the priest is reading?
that's the book he's looking at, yes.
Okay.
So phonetically, just to say, we're either Amun-Re or Amun-Ra. Right?
Amun-Re. Well, yeah. If you, I was noticing when I was creating the book, you notice that there's the diacritic above the last letter.
Right.
So it's actually. Huh? Oh, wait a minute. So no, that would Amun-Ra. I keep coming. What? I'm still trying to figure out whether it's Amun-Ra or Amun-Re.
Is it?
I'm
Is it? Is that now? Is that with the diacritic over it? Is that or as in ah?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the
I'll
answer to that is yes.
Okay, very good.
Say that again, Alex.
I think the answer to that is yes. It depends on the context.
There you go.
True. Very true.
Yeah, I put the translation. I put the translation under notes in Kenka. I've been adding all the translations under there. So.
So we're about to try to get into a pyramid.
Tome of Amun-Re.
So that's what he's been reading from.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta.
Redrith leans forward to Hag and says, "Do you think the book is fireproof?"
Only one way to find out. Oh my gosh, why can't I? There we go.
How do I move my character token? It keeps giving me this, like a ruler.
You should be able to just click on it and drag it over to where you want it to go.
Oh, the tokens are locked. So what you need to do is you drag the little ruler point to where you want it to go, and then the DM can okay the movement, and then it'll move.
Okay. Ah. Got
Right, so
because we're heading into combat. So
it. Mhm.
Okay, so we're ready to rock.
yeah, I guess let me just do an initiative on all of the bad guys.
Should we roll initiative too?
But just to kind of recap, Maddie, I kind of you might have been on the conversation, but I used Varric to politically we kind of politically made our way past the guards that are behind us.
Yep.
So we're not necessarily. I don't know if we ever had conversation that was necessarily, I don't think we ever initiated conflict to the head guy yet, did we?
no.
Mhm.
No, we
We haven't gone
haven't.
through the
We
door.
literally opened the door and ended the session.
Okay.
And
So,
and
yeah.
I don't remember if I still have the I'm just gonna the light sword, whatever it's called. The
The Sunblade?
yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
as
if I don't remember if I still have that out.
as of the end of the last session, there was no pre-expectation of combat, but you still had not engaged them in any way, shape, or form. Just basically, you've opened the door, you see these 6 figures standing in the room as described, and they've all turned towards you because they're apparently aware of your arrival. No,
Uh,
no, on this one.
so-
Oh, except for the one outside.
So we're still in a possible political situation here. So I think I'm just gonna move here and allow for.
It definitely counts as an encounter. And which way that encounter goes is entirely up to you at the moment. By the way, I am leaving the camels in the combat tracker, so I don't have to re-add them later. Maybe I'll figure out an easier way to do it, but for the terms of this combat, I'm just going to skip over them. Okay, Kat, you have very bad timing. Yeah, don't walk on my key.
I'll be honest, I thought that was Mizram.
I was going to say the same thing.
It's all part of the ambiance, guys. Now,
Mizram is a druid, but for the most of the game so far, like you said, this is our 10th session. Mizram has been a cat. In cat form, like
And that-
almost
at
always.
least-
That's become a great source of consternation to Redrith. So
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to step in and kind of flank the door, hand on my sword, just not aggressive, but ready in case I have to draw it.
I'll do the same.
Redrith is not worrying about the people behind because both Kaeli and Mizram are out there. So yeah, he's gonna just step straight ahead like that.
You guys, no, we politically discussed.
Maybe I'll say, yeah, I won't flank the door. I'll just come straight out the door, being, with the high charisma and all.
all right, so Varric is actually going to be the first one that's able to engage, so to speak. So
You want us to roll initiative?
I thought
Because none of us have.
Oh, I thought some of you had already because there is initiative rolls in there. So, yeah, go ahead and re-roll if you want.
I'm going to go here, and then this is my initiative. So I click it, shows up, and I roll in the box. Roll an 18 minus 2.
Wow, your initiative is -2?
Yeah,
Wow.
I got some bad stuff in there.
Some bad stuff.
My dexterity, my 2 lowest rolls are a dex at 7 and a charisma at 5.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
My charisma's at 7, so I feel your pain on that. And my strength is at -1, so yeah, good times.
All right, so Haig actually gets to go in first.
Cool.
And as you do so, guard 24 kind of steps in closer to the holy guy. At the same time that Varric walks into the room. Redrith, yeah, you're pretty much Oh, wait a minute. Hey, no, sorry. When Redreth walks in there.
You can make an icon for your.
Yes, we do our, we create our icon and put it on there, and then it shrinks it down into the token. Let me
Do
go
you draw it
into the-
yourself? Or-
No, I got it off the internet. Stock photo.
That's not cool though.
Maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better.
So are we trying to take this book or have it given to us? Would be my question.
I think that we're still in conversation. I mean, we can, like I said, we're still in a kind of political position. We're not here to ransack anything. We're here to find out whose side this guy's on and have a conversation about breaking the curse that's stopping the flow of water to the land. I'm trying to re-up the stuff we read last 2 weeks ago, and I'm really coming up short. Sorry, I've been busy, and I wanted to be prepared for a conversation in this room, but I got back to work this week and a couple other things, so.
Yeah, I hear you. That's right. Like I said, I was up late last night making sure that I had hopefully enough content to keep us busy today. I think I do, but never know which direction you guys are going to go.
I
I have
We're
come to
not- we're still
appreciate
not
that
even-
you guys are completionists, so I try not to leave any stone unturned.
we're actually not sure if that we're in the right place. We might have gone the wrong direction, and we're supposed to be here later in the game. And that shows other things that we're supposed to do. So we're kind of curious if we're a step ahead of ourselves, but we'll find out. Anyway, so
Redreth, you
conversation-wise, I kind of left it to Varric and Redreth. Varric, they were kind of being the political speakers at the moment.
I assume that I still have the sword hilt in my hand since I used it to get in the door. Boy, yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly. Let's see.
Yeah, I do believe you have it wielded. I think
Yeah,
as long as you have it wielded, it's
It's-
ignited, right? Or
it's
is it
lit.
all-
Yeah, it's lit.
Alex or Miz, do you guys have a better recollection of how we ended? What the conversation was like last time?
conversation amongst the party?
No,
Yeah, he's talking about what you guys decided amongst the party. You guys didn't actually start any conversation with the occupants.
No, I'm thinking about the
Yeah,
guards.
no.
We had specific conversation with the guards, saying we weren't their enemy. We were just here to help break the curse, and they were talking about protecting the temple. And I thought they hinted of what the purpose of the people were here were. Geez, I can't remember. Oy.
I So I use I have the sword lit, and so I've stepped forward 10 feet. Let me see. So I step forward one more square, and while I'm saying, gosh, I don't remember okay, I got to pull up my journal to remember what I said last time when I lit the sword. Let's see
Yeah,
here.
yes, that's a good.
That Oh yeah, he said you shall not desecrate something, and so I said define desecrate, and I lit the sword, and then the sunblade had caused the people at least outside the door to believe we had a right to be there, and so that's where we stepped through the door and went down the hall. So I will step in, keeping this possibly false bravado, and basically saying, So what's transpiring here? And as I do that, as a bonus action, I am casting Blade Song.
So just to be clear, are you attempting to establish yourself as simply worthy adversaries, or are you going a step further and trying to be intimidating?
I am trying to come in as a source of authority, asking what their right is to be here. I don't know if that's intimidation or what. I have a feeling it's going to require a charisma check, which I suck at,
I was
but
just
I'll
going to
give it a
say,
shot.
roll that charisma check. Think of it
That's
as a,
why
the FBI
that
walking into a police investigation. How do you think the local cops are going to handle it?
Use your
that's
inspiration.
that's why yeah, exactly. I'll definitely burn an inspiration on this. I have no doubt. But that's why I'm kicking off the Blade Song too, because I haven't used that yet, and it'll be fun to see what it does.
Good
So
point.
yeah. Okay, so charisma check, right?
Yes, please. And
Tower or open?
tower, please, on this one.
So in the tower, the DM can see the roll, but we can't. So we know what we're attempting to do, but we have to wait for a reaction by them to see kind of if it worked or not. So some DMs like to let everybody see it, and we can yay. Some DMs keep it secret, keep it secret. So and it just adds more flavor, you know. Because in real life, you can try, but you really don't know what somebody's reaction is going to be until you see what they do.
So with that, I've used my bonus action. I've got the sword up, and basically, I'm preparing the action or readying the action, as it were, to basically swing it at if somebody comes within range trying to attack us. I'm pretty much on guard for that. So.
This is a cantrip that can be restored with a short rest. All right.
What is a cantrip?
Blade Song.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it says I can use it. The
Twice.
thing gives me twice, and then I've got to do a short rest. So we'll see.
Yeah, it seems there's a lot of bonus for a cantrip, that's for sure. But yeah, 5th edition.
It's a cantrip. It shows up as a feature of my.
Yeah,
It's a
It
feature
functions
of
like
my
a cantrip.
character.
Class
Yeah,
cantrip.
exactly.
Okay, so all right, so it's not a standard cantrip. Gotcha. Okay, it's part
Right.
of your class features. I can live with that then. All right, so you got Blade Song in effect. You rolled as you did, and the holy man looks up from the book and looks towards you, and let's see. One second. And asks, who are you strangers that dare to enter this place, this holy place of Osiris and of his servant Amun-Ra?
Can I respond, or do I need to wait till my next turn?
No, you can respond. Conversation doesn't
okay.
fire round to round, at least until
Okay.
combat is established.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amun-Ra
There-
basically told us to come here, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of here on a divine mission, I would think.
Varric, is that your response to him, or are you just talking amongst the party?
Yeah, I'll step forward next to Redrith and say, we're here on a divine mission from Amun-Ra.
You claim
That's
to have.
that.
You claim to
That's
have
the other
been
thing.
commandeered by the spirit of Amun-Ra himself?
Indeed.
He raises his eyebrow and looks at you, kind of unconvinced. And how is it that we are to believe such a outlandish claim?
My mace is not in my hand. That should be enough.
So then pray tell, why would Amun-Ra send the likes of you into
I'll
his
lean to
holy
Redreth
temple.
I'll lean into Redreth and say, repeat him the story he told us outside.
Mhm.
And who's carrying the paper that Alex just referenced? The one that got dropped by the
I don't actually know. Probably either me or Redreth, because we're the two who've been doing the most work on the translations.
I would agree with that. But this does bring up an interesting point, is that all the stuff that I'm handing out in images, I don't actually have items for to keep track of inventory or where they are. So little bug I need to fix in the module. So, all right. So you relay the story from Amun-Ra, and Redreth, since you're up front, I'll presume that you do have the paper that was dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple of the guards kind of move up around the table a bit. This one whispers something into the holy man's ear, but the holy man seems to relax, and he looks towards you and says, "You speak the truth. That should not be expected from someone not of this land, especially one not of our own. You have my blessing to enter this place."
And I give another,
Yeah.
exasperation.
Bar's shoulders just kind of slump, like, okay.
You're just so anxious to get into a battle.
Like, seriously, like, I know this is what we want to do, but I'm like, dang it.
Combat is, in many ways, combat is easier for me to deal with, but I love the RP.
Right, exactly.
So can we just
I can
approach
promise you there will be plenty of opportunity for combat that you will not be able to avoid, but I don't believe everything has to be solved with a hack and slash.
Yeah.
But most of you know that about me by now, so.
I'd rather make allies than enemies.
Yeah.
So that's my thought.
Murder hoboing is not always the answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, from Jim's standpoint, what's the point in putting the thing into what is it called again?
Inca.
Inca, yeah. Well, what's the point of putting it into Inca if you're only going to wind up killing it anyway?
Well, I may or may not still be flashing lewd gestures at any guard who makes eye contact with me. I'm just saying.
Understood.
Redreth steps right up to the table
Yeah,
and
that's what I was thinking.
and says, "What's your name, my friend? I am Redreth."
Give me a second here.
So just like, I'm kind of covertly trying to pick a fight.
I just walks over like I poke him in the shoulder.
Yeah, and as Varric walks to meets Redreth's stride, he just looks back at Haig and just says, "Mind yourself, brother," and walks up to the priest.
Haig walks up past one of the guys and hits him with his shoulder as he goes by, like you do in high school when you're trying to pick a fight. You know?
I'll do that.
So he looks back at you. He still doesn't see. He's more comfortable than he was, but still not entirely sure. He's not like, oh yeah, you must be a good friend. He's a little more reassured,
Sure.
and replies back to you. "I am the Ayaseda of Osiris, and I am here looking for a band of my friends who were disappeared here about a week ago."
Oh, can you put the spelling of the name in the chat?
Actually, it should be in the combat tracker. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I think it says Holy Man.
Is it?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There we go.
Holy
Ooh. That would be my guess.
Holy Ayasida. Redrith asks, so a party of your fellow men disappeared here recently?
That is correct. And we are looking for clues to see if we can get further into the temple or into the pyramid and hope that maybe we would find them there.
Redrith turns and looks at Haig and is thinking, your chance for combat is coming soon. And says, is there any way we can assist you with finding your fellow men?
Didn't we meet a group looking for missing people?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So we
They
could
were
bring up
looking
that.
for a missing trade caravan.
Okay.
Okay, second time I did it right.
But still, two groups missing. There could be something connected there.
For sure.
Oh, and is this holy man? What race is he?
Human.
Okay, mostly just for my notes.
And relative to the people of the area, he is among the darker-skinned natives.
Okay.
Which you believe to be the Rorindi dervishes.
Okay.
How are the guards acting? Are they, hands on blades or just kind of standing there?
Matt, that was you asking, right?
Yep.
Well, the three around the altar right now are kind of like standing at the side of the Ayaseda and listening to what you have to say. But the other two in the room are apparently looking at the inscriptions that are on the walls. But as you're looking around at them, Varric, you do notice that Guard 14 snickers right after quietly. He does seem to kind of control himself, but you hear him kind of stifle a snicker as Redrith asks if there's anything that your party can do to assist them.
Ooh.
And I'm just going to glare at him.
So he, and I just want to make sure. So he said that it was a party of people disappeared into the temple.
The Ayaseda did, yes.
Okay.
Guard 14 is right next to Varric. All right, I'm gonna get like uncomfortably close to this guy and just like use my height as intimidation and just kind of look down.
Oh, that's true. You've probably got like a foot or two on him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
At least. All right, let's see.
How Redrith trying to avoid or trying to ignore the snickering is just like, so how does this book, and he gestures to the book that's on the table, assist you in finding your people?
Give me 1 second. This book details the past and the history of the pharaoh that built this pyramid. We hope that perhaps within it we would find clues as to the secret of the tomb. As you pointed out, you know the story of the curse. If the tomb had been plundered, then the water would have returned to the land by now, and it's not. So obviously there is some part of this temple or this pyramid that we have yet to find.
So the entrance to the tomb is not in the room.
That we know of.
Oh, you know this is the temple building outside the pyramid.
Yeah, the temple is bigger.
Did the people disappear in this temple? Did Redrith ask, did the people disappear in this temple, or did they disappear in the pyramid?
They entered the pyramid about a week ago. So just a reminder on this map, if you look at the Zoom screen, you'll see where I'm circling around. This is the temple here.
This is a staircase. There's where the water.
Yeah, you came up this grand circular staircase here. This is the basin here. You are now inside the temple right here. So you figure there's still a ways to go back into the temple, and you're nowhere near the courtyard that's surrounded by this huge wall or the pyramid.
Right.
You're still well outside the pyramid. Presumably, the pharaoh's tomb is somewhere in here. This is just a temple, as you guys.
Are you guys seeing any changes to the overlay map or no?
No, he's doing it on Zoom.
He's doing it. Look in the Zoom picture.
Which I just posted.
Gotcha. Sorry. Okay. So he has a spare map here that he changes stuff to. So that's what it was just designating, which he was showing us what was going on where in there.
You should have a list of all the maps that I've shared previously in the map folder if you want to show them some of the other maps that you've guys have explored, like the city, the overland map and stuff.
Cool.
But meanwhile, so you have the Ayaseta in front of you. At least one of the Goliaths is intimidating some of the guards. The other two seem preoccupied, not really defensive, but not on alert either. And with that, let's see, hold on a second. So in addition to the double doors, since you're not engaged in combat, I can share the rest of this with you. In addition to the double doors in the south end, the room has doorways in the north end of the side walls. The statue is of a pharaoh. It is cut from a stone different than that of the surrounding walls or altar. Several of the wall panels are inscribed with writings carved in the ancient alphabet. Writings appear on the outside of the white book, probably the title. They too are written in an ancient alphabet. So let's see.
So I'm going to lean into Redrith and...
This is the inscription that you will find written in the same inscription written in several places throughout the room and on the altar.
Inscriptions, I'm so excited.
I'm going to lead into Redrith and
and I will
lean into Redrith and say, do you want me to go get the tracker? Knowing that she and Redrith have been doing most of the translation.
Redrith nods.
I don't know what kind of nod that is.
Redrith nods yes, and then asks the holy man how well his translations have has he been able to translate the carvings on the wall as well as the book.
He looks at you somewhat curiously and it's like, we've not been able to decipher the language. We've been having some troubles with it ourselves.
Well, Redrith simply says, can I see, just show me the cover of the book, please? And just takes a look at it and says, oh, well, what you have right there is...
Well, as he shows it to you, he admits that he can read the title, so there's not going to be any big revelation there. It's like, well,
okay,
we can read this, but it's hard for us to make full sense of the rest of the book. We know that, as I told you, this is the Tome of Amun-Re.
Excellent. Well, very good. Well, that's a start. How about the wall? Have you deciphered that one?
No, not quite. We do know that it is telling us about Amun-Re. We see his name carved there, but... Oh, no, his name is not carved there, sorry. But he does point out to you, which you might notice, that they can tell that the word spirit is in there twice.
Yes. Yes, that is definitely a good start. Just give us a moment.
So while I give you guys a moment, I'm going to take a break if that's okay.
Okay.
So if you see I'm requesting to move to Kaeli, if you want to skip it all and just negate the move, I'm going to go out there and whisper close to her so the other guards don't hear. If you have more inscriptions, they have no idea what they're looking
I'll let you head on
at. I
out.
didn't hear the conversation.
I'm presuming Ms. and Kaylee, you guys are both standing outside waiting for them to come back.
Yeah, waiting to see what happens. Haig comes out and mentions that there's inscriptions and they that they want help deciphering, and I will enter to decipher inscriptions because.
And you, Ms., what are you going to do? You're going to continue to post outside the main entrance, or are you going inside?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in outside just in case anything go pear-shaped and they need someone to create an exit out here for them.
Gotcha. Probably not a bad idea, especially if it does turn to a conflict. You can be pretty sure that those two are going to play some role. But at this point, just so you understand the scope and size, so the two of you were aware that there were other individuals inside that room when the rest of the party went in. The doors have not closed behind them. Since we don't have animated maps, I'm not going to try to open them or anything. But so you know there's a conversation going on in there, but you can't hear what's going on. But obviously, if a fireball or something, other kind of combat broke out, you would be aware of it pretty quickly.
Most certainly.
Any other questions quick before I head to the little boys' room?
I think we're good. So if we use this, we go into. So I'm gonna go into a different channel we have in here, where we have already done some of the inscription. Go into here and into Share Power, Ancient Inscription. There's the new one. Oh, this is the story we were given. Dang it. The monologue by the Spirit. That's what I was looking for earlier. Here we go. Here's some of inscription translations. So now we have the task of, so right there, that's tune of, so we know that's a T, and then the line over, so it's probably two, we have that translate yet. Anyway, what we have to do is we have to try to translate that. That's level. See, there's like a three-level word of Spirit. It's what I'm working on. Trying to do or be with another. There's three who inserted on business. So there's a little bit of phonetic stuff in there. There's like actual it's that 8 kind of. Yes, they don't want to make it they don't want to make it impossible to decipher, really. Gosh, I wish we had like an interactive picture.
We could rearrange letters and drawing them or something.
No, like
Now you've got me thinking about how that could be done.
right, and we could all just take different parts and add the letters to it, or once we've figured out words, we can add it to the description and go, okay, cool, that one's done. So if you look at line 1, word 2, and line 3, the last word, they're the same word. Yeah, Alex has got a bunch of it.
Where
That's
in
just
Discord?
my first pass. And some of the letters, the contrast isn't enough that I can't quite make out what the letter is supposed to be. So I can't quite figure out what the translation is.
Yeah,
But
you're right
that's-
about
that's just
lies. To this spirit
that's
lies.
just the first pass. That's just the first pass, and then I take that and I refine.
So you've got this spirit twice in there. We've got, I want to never, is that never in there?
It might be. I'm
Worship?
having trouble. I'm wondering if that word is westward.
Oh, yeah. Westward woodwork, yeah. Because even if it was the W, that W-Y-R-D would still be phonetically word.
Yeah.
How about the caret over the Q? Do we have that translated anywhere else?
That's a variant of A.
Quick question, guys. Are you discussing this privately amongst yourselves, or are you doing it such that any of the other dervishes in the ISA that could possibly hear you?
I would
Quietly.
I would think that we would probably want to take ourselves and like which wall was the inscription on?
It's on several places.
Okay, we'll go to the one that's
Honestly,
farthest from them.
Honestly, what I would do is I would like take a rubbing or copy it onto a piece of parchment and then go back out into the hallway to puzzle over it.
Yeah,
I thought
that
the
makes
same
sense.
thing, but I don't have any of the materials to do it.
Redrith has paper, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. I'm pretty sure I got paper for spells and whatnot. So let me double check.
I've got writing materials.
Yeah, I bought a ton of paper.
I've got writing materials. I've got chalk. I've got.
Yeah, I have a lot of paper, ostensibly for writing spells and whatnot, that I have not needed to use yet. So I could definitely take rubbings with that.
And actually, Amun al-Rakib gave you paper and chalk to be able to copy any stone inscriptions and stuff. So he gave you a supply in hopes that you would, at some point, be able to return all the information he expects you'll gather along the way. Because he is a historian as well.
And I'm a researcher. So
in the set of Canyon, tomb is done with that Y with the over, with the long accent. So can that be commune with men and not canyon with men?
Yes. I was just doing a rough transcription, and then I was gonna work on refining it into a proper translation.
The last two words on the top line, the last one appears to be from. The one before it, the center letter has like some white streaks going through it, makes it a little hard to read. Is it the same letter as the center letter of the last word? Is it an or is it a little different? I have a little trouble.
I'm sorry, which one are you referring to?
On the top line.
It's the same character.
The last
the
two
same character.
words. Okay. The last two words, the center letter, is it the like an A kind of thing with the little umlaut or the little mark over it, or are those two different
Carrot.
letters?
Yeah.
Carrot.
The A with the carrot.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And if it's the same, I wonder if it's the same as two lines underneath it where it looks like a D, same letter Z. Is that the same letter or no?
No, that's a different letter.
Yeah, that one's not closed at
That's
the
a
top.
different letter.
So for the top line, I have to this spirit lies for from, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Correct.
Say that again.
To or through this spirit lies for or fur from. Far from. Oh, far from.
Far from.
Far
Nice.
from.
Far
I thought it
would
was
work.
for from. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, far from.
No, but far would make sense.
Okay, cool.
You know what? Let me double check something though.
To the spirit lies far from.
Where the heck is that thing? My book. Where's my book?
I'm looking to see if we've already translated some of these words and then match the words that we're in. So we've already done who, and who is not the same as that. So to
His spirit lies on us in heaven worship.
So the second line, first word, instead of as, could that be us?
Could.
It's Oz. Lies far from us in. Lies far from us in.
Is that an
Then the
in?
next part.
That the end of that letter is possibly an R too, correct?
I think the R
It
has a
could
little
be.
bit more.
It doesn't look the same as an R.
See the
Yeah,
the
it's a-
second the second word, second from the last word in the top row, the last letter is an R, and that doesn't look like it. The what's in the second.
You also
Which-
have an R in spirit.
Yeah, that's true.
What's that?
Maybe us, like a comma.
Yeah, and in spirit, it's the same letter combination that it would be if that was an R, and they're not the same letter. They are very clearly not the same letter.
And the westward she mentions makes a lot of sense because the W and then YRD.
Mhm.
So that would put the B for that one, the open Y with the caret
So would it say far from us in their westward?
in something westward for sure. I would think. I have to try to find that. Let's see if we've done that. Any of that H or that middle letter in there. There's the one I'm looking for right here. This is one where we did a whole bunch of it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So try to see if we there, that's a TH. That looks similar to that.
Second pass posted.
So she's got, oh, heaven? Do you want to go, you think it's heaven? You think that is the TH symbol in that EVE? No, oh yeah, because that would be N, right?
Because that's an N, not an R
Wait,
at the end of the word. So heaven would make more sense.
in heaven westward.
That third line doesn't quite make sense.
What do you got so far for the third line?
The Y with the line over it is the oo sound too.
Correct.
So
It's also an U or an
Oh yeah, into his. Okay, you've already got that part too.
That third word.
I'll be right back. It started
doesn't make
pouring
sense
here,
yet.
so I'm gonna go help some kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
That third word in the third line doesn't yet make sense to me.
Does? Is it does? This spirit?
No, she means the word before that one.
I'm still, but the. Oh, days.
No, I'll tell you, you were right with does.
Okay, so. That the third letter in there looks like it's a K, Alex. Oh, you have it liked. Okay.
The third, fourth, and fifth lines I just made another pass at.
I see. I'm trying to compare it to the gray tablet looking one we did in the past. So if we can find.
I just realized another issue I got with the module that I will rectify by next session, but I need to set up experience rewards for decrypting these things.
Oh. That letter. Looks like this. So that's an N, doesn't have, so that likeness that she's saying is definitely positive. The squiggle is weird, isn't it? Looks like a curse of the weird. Yeah. 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 So.
That would be really good if you could do the writing thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why.
You can go this way. Hey. That's all.
I'm not entirely certain about the transcription of that first word.
The first one? Or which one?
Yeah, the first word of the first line is still a question mark, but I think the rest is pretty good.
I'm still questioning the TH versus the H. Is it, are we confident it's his? Or this?
Just phonetically, this would be the same symbol, would have the same ending symbol as the word us, the first word in the second line, but this is more like is a slightly different letter, and it's more like lies and does. So I'm thinking his.
Mm-hmm.
Voiced versus unvoiced sibilant.
Which one are you talking about, Alex?
Second word, first line.
First word, first line, second word, final letter is the indicator that I'm using to guess at the first letter.
Gotcha.
Oh, I think you're right. I think it's WH. If you look at the Great Tablet again, where the first word is where, it's that H looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm still not sure about the first word of the first line, though. It still doesn't quite make sense.
First word of the first line?
Yeah.
Who, right? Who his spirit lies. No, well, no, because that would be the Y symbol. But see, the oo is the Y with the straight line over top of it, or the OO with the line over top of it. We've got root and oo, or is that road? Where lies the road? So that's a.
It's the same symbol as in pool, though, from Sacred Pool from the map.
Right, right.
So I'm really not sure what that first word is supposed to be.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little guidance here.
Could be though his spirit.
That's what I've been thinking.
It's not an S. It's not an
Yeah.
S. It's very definitely not an S.
No, you're right. It's not an S though, but what is it?
Which is not an S.
It looks
The
to
second
me
word?
more like a T. A T, a TH, or maybe an H.
Which second word?
No, we're looking at the first word.
Okay, yes. So yes. Sorry, I was mixing up which word you were looking at. So, what does everyone think it is?
It looks like a T. It looks like the word two, but the word just doesn't fit with the rest of what we've deciphered.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but there is a loop after it that blends into the vowel. So it is a TH that's there.
So it could be though, if it's like road, though his or to his.
I think though makes the most sense.
Though his spirit lies far from us in heaven westward, into his likeness does his spirit come that he may commune with men.
Into what?
Into his likeness.
Are you sure about that?
No.
That is the same symbol as the very first character. Third line, second word, first character is the same as the first character in the first line.
Into
Okay,
this.
so.
Ah.
Into this. So.
Okay, yeah, the background texture that you used obscures that loop in the first word in the first line there.
Yep. And if you were actually able to look at it, you'd be able to feel it and stuff. So I'm comfortable giving that to you.
Oh, okay. So his spirit comes, make commune with men. So how does that help us?
Okay.
So I guess.
Okay, I cannot see the map at the moment because it is hidden.
Okay, so now that we have this,
Is there a statue in this
Yes, there
room?
is.
There is behind the
I
main desk.
have a guess as to what this inscription means.
Are there any other writings that we can see in the room?
There are several copies of this same writing. The only other different writing is what you see on the book.
Okay. So I'm just talking to my friends here, and it sounds like, if we have deciphered this correctly, it sounds like there's a way to get the statue to be infused with a spirit,
Or do
and
we have
talk
to
to us.
or do we shift the statue to face westward?
Redrith
I'm
sighs
not
as
sure.
his blade
I
song
don't know,
passes.
I don't know how to get it to work, but that is what this inscription seems to be saying, is that there is a way to get this statue to become animated with the spirit being spoken of, probably Amun-Re, so that he can talk to us.
Yeah, I like the idea
It's
of
either
turning.
Amun-Re
See
or
if we can.
Osiris. I'm not quite sure.
Can I walk up to the statue and see if it will swivel or turn? Or anything
Do
like
we
that?
want to figure out what to do with the book and the people in there before we start attempting to, I don't know, do we want them to have this knowledge? Do we care? While we're still in our little group talking, I'm just kind of asking that question.
It's a good point. They may not like you molesting the statue.
And what was the is what you posted the last time, Alex? Is that the final translation?
Unless somebody has more refinements to make to it, I believe that is my final translation.
Cool. I'm just writing out the translation, so in my graphic. So that's why I'm asking.
It's fun, isn't it? That one was a little harder to read than some of the other ones. The one that we had last time, we were like, boom, 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 this is what it is. And this time it's a little bit harder. Fun, though.
Part of the issue with this one, we're getting faster at this, but part of the issue with this one is that the background that Keith chose for this, the contrast isn't quite right between the background and the letters, and at least one of the letters is obscured because of that texture. So that made it harder for us to read.
And absolutely, and of course, not all the things you would find in real life are easy to read either. So it totally makes sense.
Exactly. That was my thought.
For sure.
Exactly. But we are getting faster at this.
Yes, you most definitely are.
We are getting faster at this.
And I just rewarded you all experience for deciphering that one. I will create experience awards for the other ones and add them as I can.
Awesome, thank you.
Especially since we've been kind of low on combat, and you guys have been spending a lot of time and doing a really good job on them. And I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. It deserves to be compensated. So.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
I love these. These are fun.
I'm glad you're enjoying them so much, Alex. Glad you stuck around for this campaign too.
Now is it time to kill all the rest of the guys so we can move on?
No.
Does the statue look? Does the statue look anything like Amun-Ra that we saw?
Let's see.
Ooh, good point.
Okay, out of character, remind me, the people here are of a tribe native to the area that is known for protecting these sites. These are the original inhabitants that have been nearly stamped out. I'm trying to remember the history from ages ago.
Do we have any idea what the very symbol at the very end of the inscription means?
I believe it's just a end of sentence, end of line type.
Okay. Yeah, it was at the end of the one on the pillar too.
There's a problem with the Kankas site. If the picture overflows the container, there is no way to scroll.
Which one?
Gates of Sewell transcription
Okay.
is the one I'm looking at, but I can't get it to scroll. I was gonna check that one to see if it had.
All right, hold
Oh,
on.
I see what you're saying. That it doesn't have a horizontal scroll bar. Gotcha.
Exactly.
I might. Let me put those in a different way. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Let me just put that in a different way.
All right, so Matt or Jim, this is actually a good example for Matt about what you just rolled with the statue. So perception rolls almost always will be done in the tower, because if you roll high, like you did there, and I say you don't find anything, you're pretty confident that there's nothing there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and
But if you don't
that's
know
my
what
fault.
you rolled, you're just not sure whether or not you didn't find anything or there's nothing there.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
With that in mind,
And
But-
sometimes,
I gave you a second roll in the tower.
right, I was going to follow up on that. So with that in mind, given the roll that did come through in the tower, Haig does notice a bit of a seam around the back of the statue, which does seem to be fixed to the wall.
You said a seam.
Seam,
Like, is this shiftable?
like a doorway seam.
Ooh.
Like a rip seam in June.
Yeah, like a seam, like a place where it comes together all along. And everybody's still. Can I assume that they're all still talking? Because I'm kind of going by their distraction and kind of shifting back, and I'm just gonna try to lean on the statue a little bit if nobody's paying attention.
Lean on it.
Yeah, kind of quietly, like, push it to see if if I might have only a little enough strength to just to see if it shifts a little bit.
Alex, refresh the page. I think I fixed that one. I just got to make a change to the other ones.
Just let me know what you'd want me to roll.
Hold on one second.
that's a bit better.
And I'm not trying to make an obvious two-handed, but just kind of like resting my hand on it, leaning on it, and like maybe giving a little bit, but not trying to be obvious about it.
So you're primarily trying to push, correct?
Correct, but not hard.
Gotcha. Where the heck happened to it? And we'll point out there are actually a lot of errors I've had to correct in the original module to make things consistent and make sure that they point in the right spot. So sometimes when I'm trying to refer back to the source material and figure out what I meant to write, it kind of takes me a little while to figure out where it came from. All right, there it is.
Okay.
Oh no, Candyland is pretty fun. Have you ever played Candyland?
Candyland with her 70 times. Candyland. Yes, the Candyland.
Okay, so yeah, nothing happens.
Okay. All right.
But let's see.
Work my way back here, and I'll lean into Redreth and say the statue is definitely a thing. But whispered. And I'm going to go get a slice of zucchini bread.
Sounds like a good idea.
You have zucchini bread? I want
Hey,
zucchini bread.
All
We
right.
have zucchini and zucchini bread coming out of our ears right now. So
I want
fortunately,
zucchini bread.
the kids love it. So my wife has to make like 4 more loaves every other day. So
All right, before you take off, though, I do got to point out one thing that you do notice.
Yeah. Not know that until now.
Because of your high intelligence, what you do notice, even though nothing gives and nothing moves, you do notice that it appears to have hinges on the right-hand side, which is meant for it to swing outward.
Gotcha. And I'm going to portray that information and say, I think this will move. Do we dispatch of these guys or just say get out of the way?
I don't think I ever got an answer to my out of character question.
I'm sorry,
What's
what was that?
I'm trying to remember the history that we got ages ago, and I don't know if it's we got a little bit of history about these guys. And this is the original tribe of the area that has been suppressed.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I did confirm that with you. These are the Warindis.
Okay. And so these guys are known for being the, oh, I have no notes on that session, no wonder. So these guys are known for guarding the ancient places.
That is correct. They are
Okay.
considered holy protectors.
Okay.
I
So in that
compared them
case,
at one point to the Magi and the Mummy movies.
which means nothing to me because I've never seen those.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
so we don't want to kill them. We want to work with them if we can.
Yeah.
Correct. So Kaeli's recommendation would be to share our translation and our speculations with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having heard what Kaeli says, I agree. And so Redrith will, and Kaeli, we can go to the nearest inscription on the wall and just, what do you think? Just say it as we trace along the words.
Just take our piece of paper to him and say, here's the inscriptions from the walls, and here's what we think it says, and we think it's referring to that statue right there.
Exactly.
All right. So who's going to be the one to do so?
I think both Kaeli and Redrith.
I think we would do it together.
Yep.
All right. So, Kaeli, move yourself in or indicate where you want to go. Or tell me where you
Path to
want
get there is kind of awkward, but I think there-ish, or move Varric out of the way, and I'll stand where Varric is.
That's right. You can just read the one that's on the altar. Because each of the two guards that are south of you in the room, they're both looking at the same copy of the inscription. So it is all over the room.
Okay, and so we just show him the inscription and explain what we think it says, and that this likeness is referring to the statue.
Looks like we might have lost Jim.
Uh-oh, that's no good.
No, it's not. He dropped from both Zoom and both Zoom and the game.
That probably means his internet cut out.
Yeah, that's not a good
Spectrum has
sign.
been pretty bad the last couple of days.
All right,
So it doesn't
so
surprise.
I'm going to suggest that we take a break and give them 5 or 10 minutes to reconnect
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
before we.
All I'm gonna say is
there's
that what he get for fireballing the cat tail last week.
Oh,
Cat chewed on the cable.
geez. I'm glad you're still there, Ant. I was beginning to wonder.
No,
Just out there
no,
licking
no.
your paws, aren't you?
Yeah, well, plus this side of the game is for the people with the brains. I'm all about the food.
I just realized, Alex, this is actually a great reason for you and I to also be recording, because if any one of us gets disconnected, we're sure to still have something that he could fill in the gaps with.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. All right, so let's take a 10-minute break. We'll meet back here at 1:45, and hopefully Jim will have made it back, and we'll all witness the reaction of the ISATA to you guys making the translation.
Okay, I'm gonna get some honey and lemon tea, so I'll catch you all in about 10 minutes.
See you then.
Okie dokie.
That's what I was
But
looking
yeah.
at, and I was like, I thought a paladin got a few more spells than just their oath-specific spells.
Yeah, and not to mention, if you don't
Yeah.
have modules loaded, then when you try to connect anything that links to them, it's not going to find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And then I can just add one to my character sheet.
You just drag it from that spells window. You just drag it onto your actions tab.
Okay.
I recommend using the 5e effects coding version, because most of the time those codings are more elegant and more complete.
So you see how up here in
Some
the
of
group I
them-
can select the ones from 5e effects coding,
Yep.
and then so it'll limit it to those that have the coding, and then you can limit it by level, ritual, or source.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I am dialed. I'm just dialing in via audio because my network went down again, and so it seems like lately, anytime we have rain, the network goes down around here. So
Really? That's a shame.
we just had a storm go through. Yeah, last night kids were on Xbox, and right, it was, I don't know. You saw my post, Dan, in the little local network group we have, and
Yeah.
but it went down for like 7 minutes and then came back, and then it went down for like another 18 or 20 minutes or something. So
Killing everyone's game on a
Yeah,
Friday
that's
night. How dare they?
yeah, exactly. But it seems like anytime the rain goes through, that's when we have trouble. So I'm dialed in audio, and I will reconnect when my network decides to start working again. So
Do you have access to the stream?
I'm dialed in just in audio. So
Okay.
And my computer's froze.
Yeah,
It
we were
does that
streaming a
sometimes.
movie last when it hiccups, Jim. We were streaming
oh really?
something new, and we were like, "Oh, what the crud?" But I've been having intermittent internet anyway,
Yep.
so I've had to reset a couple of times. And when we first moved in a couple of months ago, we had it then, and I called, and they're like, "Oh no, it should be all new. It should be all this. It should be all that. You should be fine." And I'm like, "Okay, well, kind of know it's not fine, but we have to reset about once a week." And then I don't know, a week and a half ago, it did it like 3 times in a row, and I'm like, "I've had it." And the girl's like, "No, it should be fine, but if it happens again, we'll send somebody out." So, kind of frustrated with this situation.
Yeah, I've got a thing logging it, so I'm going to call them up and give them the exact times.
And Jim, we
now
were
for
also
the-
pointing out it's a good thing that we've got both Alex and I recording it, because you can fill in whatever recording you're missing out on right now.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, it says I'm back online again, so I will, for another 10 minutes, try and connect here.
All right, so
it
we're
goes
all
out
back.
again.
Alex?
I think we're all at least in voice.
Yep. Jim?
Yep, I'm here.
Dan?
Yep.
Matt?
Yes.
And Ant?
I'm just trying to get my computer to stop being stupid.
You there, Ant? You're unmuted.
And we have versions that shows.
Liz, you're on mute. Are you there?
I did say I was here, but you might not have heard me.
Yeah, I think you got your mute juxtaposed. But yeah, I hear you now. All right.
Okay.
So,
He has a setting where it has.
so while Varric bounces back and forth, Kaylee
Sorry.
starts reading the inscription on there. And as she finishes the first line, the guards all kind of start scurrying. They seem excited. This one over here runs over to the wall to read the inscription or look at it as she's talking. Guard 16 is looking at the Ayaseta with a look of hopefulness in him. 24 is looking at you kind of astonished, but 14 and 33 are looking at the wall. The Ayaseta, his mouth kind of drops open, and he looks over to guard 16 next to him and looks back at him as, and he looks over, so he looks to guard 16 to his left. He's not looking at any of the inscriptions, so he looks over to guard 29, who turns around from the wall, and he kind of nods back at the Ayaseta excitedly, like, yeah, that's it. And the Ayaseta looks at you, is like, how were you able to do that? You're not Warendi. Are any of you the party? And he looks briefly at the two Goliaths and then focuses his attention on Kaylee.
I just kind of like, I just kind of give it, I don't really answer the question because I don't understand what he's so excited about. It's just a language puzzle.
Well, how are you going to respond to him?
The only thing I can think of is the meme where the guy is tapping his finger on his forehead, on the side of his head, and he says, "Modern problems require modern solutions."
I'm just gonna kind of give him this blank look, like, why are you so surprised? Because I don't understand what's the big deal. Because as far as Kaylee is concerned, this is just a language problem. This is just a puzzle to solve. This is
I'm
nothing.
just gonna say,
It's just a puzzle to solve.
Apparently, there is some kind of religious, cultural, or language barrier that has not allowed them to put all the pieces together. So he's obviously
Redress simply says, like I said, we are meant to do this.
exactly. Obviously, we were chosen.
So he looks over at Redreth and then looks back at Kaylee, and he takes the book and he opens it up to the first page. He doesn't hand you the book, but he puts it down on the altar and turns it and faces it towards you and says, "Can you translate this?" And he shows you another inscription. Now, this is where I'm going to have to apologize to you guys, because this is, as I said, the book where, for whatever freaking reason, they did not give me the actual translation, even though they say it should be translated. So what I'm going to do in this case is, Kaylee, please go ahead and let's see, what's going to be the most appropriate skill for this?
It's going to
Intelligence.
be intelligence based.
I was kind of I guess it's not really arcana or religion. It's definitely intelligence based. You're right.
I would like to assist. I'm a +3 on intelligence. I'm all over this. This is
Okay.
right, and my researcher background. So this is, I'm all excited.
Before they
We're gonna do this on an investigation basis.
Before they get started on that, I'm going to lean into Redreth and say, do you want me to just move the statue? At this point?
No. Kayla's gonna say no.
We're out of that food. I have to go pick up more. So
I'm gonna keep my
Might be a
eyes
little
locked
bit
on
left
Redreth.
right next to the other one.
He says, he just says, let's see what we can learn from here first.
Okay, so you said you want me to roll investigation.
Investigation
Redreth is a
with advantage because he's assisting.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever's left in there, give to her.
No, I split it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I got back in the game for another 5 minutes.
Oof. Wow. You are unable to translate that page. With advantage, you only rolled a 3.
That's not good.
Nope, it's not. So he looks at you kind of surprised.
I'm frowning at it like yeah. I'm frowning at it like I need more time.
Perhaps, if I get around to doing it, we'll give you that. But for the time being, we're going to kind of play this out.
Okay.
But he does look at you like kind of surprised, but kind of not, kind of like reassuring himself. Yeah, I thought so. Is kind of like the look in his face. But he flips the page.
Redreth looks at KLA like, this is your thing. What's going on here? This is your thing.
So he flips the page and then shows you page 2. Are you going to look at it and try to decipher it?
Yes.
No one's saying anything, so I'm asking. And Redreth is assisting, I presume?
Can Redreth make his own roll? Hoping he might roll better.
You want to try it the other way around? That's fine.
That's fine with me. I don't care.
Okay, so advantage. All right. Investigation, right?
Yes.
So I roll in the tower?
Yep.
Not
I can
necessary
also
because
assist
this
with
is
that.
something you know if you translate.
I can also assist on this. I'm proficient in investigation.
Oh my.
Not necessary in this case. So.
Yeah.
Page
Well,
2.
your dice are luckier than mine.
Page 2.
Ooh. It's already translated.
Well, that was what the roll was for.
So Redreth, with the assistance of KLA, is able to translate the second page of the book. And presumably you read it out loud so that you convince to him that, yes, you can translate it. And yeah, he's not completely agape, but his mouth does part, his lips do part, and he's kind of somewhat astonished. And looks over to you and looks around at your party, at least the ones that are in the room. And he says, "Perhaps you are the ones that Martek foretold. Perhaps you are the ones that will restore life to the valley." And he bows his head in front of you.
I'm going to look at the guy who snickered before and go,
He bows his head immediately.
I'm sorry. such a butthole. Tyler.
Meanwhile,
Hang on just a second. All right, go ahead.
so, and you do both notice that there are at least a few more pages to this book.
Redrick wants to continue translating. He's fascinated by this now.
Okay, so how are you going?
Yeah.
How are you going to do so? By asking him or by turning the page yourself?
Because he bowed his head, I will simply reach out and turn the page.
He reaches out almost instinctively, seeming to swat your hand, but then seems to catch himself, but still puts up some kind of interference. He kind of still puts his hand in between, and he says, "Please allow me." And he gently turns the page to the next one.
He was within a whisker of getting a firebolt to the chest.
So now, if you would, please see if you guys can translate that.
Okay.
Your roll was luckier than mine. You go first.
Okay. Come on, come on.
Uh-oh.
How's that? 17? Or did it not come through?
No, it came through.
It came
Yeah,
through.
it came through. I got it. I think I have a slight issue here, though. Please. Oh, that stinks. What did I do? You'll have to give me a moment, guys. I think I don't have the right image there. Recent. Shoot. That was verse 2. Water in here? In here, no. Yeah, because I don't want it all over the carpet. Yeah, I accidentally duplicated verse 2 and verse 3. So give me a moment. I need to regenerate this. I don't think.
Hey, Dan, how do we say our last name? Kumayato?
Kumadzatoa.
Kumajitoa. Okay. I was wondering if it was more of like Native American-esque or Japanese.
That's the vibe I get from. So there's a couple of guidelines that we were reading in like the D&D lore.
Uh-huh.
Technically, our guys are supposed to, like, we call each other by characteristics of the person, kind of like Native Americans do. So
Right, that's the Stonewalker and Rune Speaker.
Right, and we would call Jim like the Fire Slinger, you know, a Red Dresser, you know, you and I could. I tried to do this a little bit with Eric in the beginning, but he didn't jump on it as quick. But I would like to try to agree on a term that we call everybody and try to keep with that lore.
Well, for sure, because if we're having a private conversation, we're going to be speaking giant. So it would be the giant equivalent to Fire Slinger, the Tracker, the Cat, the Cat person in giant.
Yeah. Exactly. And then one of the things was that it's common for giants to have last names that are 5 syllables. So I kind of
okay.
threw something together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the drive behind that. Nothing real special, just trying to come up with something that was.
I dig it. I like having that
tongue.
extra bit of insight.
Yeah.
You know, into the character. Do we know if anybody in the party speaks giant besides us?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And I don't know if.
Yeah, I don't know if
you know that
probably
everybody
hasn't come
else is a different race of elf, right?
Yeah, Kael'Li's half elf, and then Redrith and.
Redrith is an elf.
Yep, or
High
just
elf.
elves.
Yep.
I think it's high elf and wood elf.
It's why I'm better than the rest of you.
So something with Redrith's name in giant has got to be something along the lines of like, you know what I mean? Like we acknowledge that he's
something
kind of
along
a
the
dick.
lines of big-eared snooty asshole or something like that.
Yeah. And I would assume that it would change, like if something character, like he did something in character that stood out, that his name would change from Fire Slinger to, you know.
An evolution, right.
Jedi Master. Because I got a lightsaber.
There you go.
Almost done, guys.
Ranking of knights.
The page 2 translation is up in Kenka also. And I'm fixing those images so they all are visible on the page.
Oh, good. Because it's no fun when you can't see the whole image because the embedding screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Page 3.
There we go.
But not by him alone was I instructed. Daily was I taught by the priest and wise men of my country about the order of kings and the heavens. I learned of the passing of the kings and how they, after death, journey to heaven westward, making the long passage to their burial ships, sailing across the river of death until they reach the farthest shore. There they are admitted to their separate estates by Osiris, god of death, according to the riches they have brought with them. I also learned of wicked men whose minds had darkened and forgotten the old ways, who plundered the old ones' tombs and took their riches, thus robbing them of their place in heaven westward. As a boy, I would often cry in the night at such thoughts, and fear of judgment of Osiris lodged in my heart. Who's going to roll for number 4?
Well, my luck is still holding. You want me to roll?
Go for it.
All right. That +6 definitely helps. Ooh, barely. The +6 helps a ton.
I am also uploading the translations to the Ancient Inscriptions page.
Cool.
Excellent.
And you guys are definitely dropping some seriously low rolls with that advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that one is not good enough to translate page 4. So you want to try page 5?
Wow, 15. Okay, that wasn't that. Sure. May as well give it a shot.
I also have the same bonus, Jim, if you want me to try.
Wow, 16, 15 is not enough. That's crazy.
That one is not quite enough. You need a 17.
17 is good enough. 15 is also. There's your answer. 17.
And then page 6. Drop 1, drop to 2, drop to 2, drop to 1. There we go.
There you go.
All right, so you can read page 6 then.
What we'd really like is enough time to sit here and just translate the whole thing. Just sit here and just take the time just to do it right and just get everything. That's what we really want.
If I only had the translated text to do it. It's one thing for me to sit there on my tablet and trace over all of them, but I tried doing it once and spent the whole day, and I only got 2 sentences translated, and I just did such a lousy job of replacing the letters with the phonetics that you could read it straight out. It didn't make much sense for to spend that much time. You can see how much text there is here. So
Yeah.
and these are just the 3 pages that you have been able to translate. All right, so 2, 3, and 6.
So we're doing it as if, so we're only getting a one and done, like even a different person can't make attempts at the other pages?
No, we're going to allow other chances. I'm trying to think exactly how to do it, but yeah, I guess it would be even more convincing that you are, quote unquote, the Martech's chosen ones. If it was more than just one of you were able to, oh, wow, look, I can translate that one. And I can, oh, yeah, you guys obviously work as a team. So with that in mind, either way, though, I'm still going to say that it takes an hour to do a half hour to do each translation. So you spent an hour and a half so far on those. Well, no, we're going to say you spent 3 hours so far, because even if you failed to translate, you still spent the time to try to translate it. So 6 pages, 2 hours. Who's going to try next on which page?
Vark will assist anybody who's, if Haig wants to take a look at it, I'll assist.
Yeah, I'd like to take a spin. And 6 was the last page?
That was the last. So yeah, 2, 3, and 6 have been translated. 1.
How many
We
pages
go back to
are
page
there?
1.
There's 6 pages.
Yeah, I'll go back to page 1. And these are standard advantage rolls?
With intelligence, yes. Sorry, investigation checks, yes.
Very good.
I kind of get the impression that we're all of us just huddling over this book and just discussing it.
Yep, exactly.
Shoving the guards out of the way. Move.
Yeah, all the guards are trying to peek over you and my shoulders and like in between our armpits.
Yeah, I was going to say they're looking under our armpits.
That's enough to scare them away. Page 1, woohoo.
Actually, I did have that first paragraph converted. I should have just given you that to start working with.
Yeah, you could have. It would have been more fun. I mean, I like to roll dice, but honestly,
there's plenty more for you. Don't worry, Alex. There's going to be plenty more of these, though, for you to mess around with.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're not done with the ancient language.
Good. It is so much fun.
Well, I hope you still enjoy the book pages. I did my best to still make it look stylized.
No, I
think it's cool. Yeah.
They're cool and they're fun. It's just the language puzzle is the part that really gets me going.
All right, so who's working on, who's going to try to do 4?
Well, I'll continue to try until I.
Yeah.
Well, if it's going to be, if you're going to do it, the same people, it's going to be sequential.
Yep.
Time added.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get another group of 2 people trying to do it, you might half the time because you'll be working on it at the same time the other ones are working on the. Well, no, you can't look at more than one page at once. Never mind. All right, so go ahead. One more, next roll for page 4.
Okay, page 4.
Oh, nice.
And
Well done.
you are successful on that one.
Redress says, see, we want you for your brains as well as your brawn.
And last but not least, page 5.
Give me a second to go through. Well, I guess we could start over and read it one big stretch, right?
Yeah.
Traps.
Kayla is taking notes of our translation attempts. So yeah, when we've got them all, then we will
24.
Nice.
then we can read through them in order.
Yeah, this is great. Cool.
Poor bastard.
Right?
Shall I read through it in order now?
Yes.
All right, yeah, please do.
You don't mind.
I, Amun-Re, do set forth a record of myself and my dealings with this world. The years fold back in my mind. There were green and fertile fields in my youth. Throughout the land, flowers grew in abundance in the thick and lush forests, filling the air with pure fragrance and well-being. Traders in their sand ships would travel a year or more to come to our oasis on the borderlands and bid a high price for our sweet perfumes. Fruits and sweetmeats came from our fields, while within the city of Turbakar, the mills turned out a secretly woven cloth, fine enough for kings and queens. The river of Athos was the mother of our land, giving life itself with its waters. Springing forth from the courtyard of the old palace, Athos blossomed all that she touched, even in the harsh borderland, and gave strength and health to her children. My father would sit with me beside the spring and tell stories of her wonderful power and her blessings to the land, the very gift of Isis. There, by the raging torrents of Athos, I grew strong in the love of my father as we played and learned of life and its living. But not by him alone was I instructed. Daily was I taught by the priests and wise men of my country about the order of kings and the heavens. I learned of the passing of the kings and how they, after death, journeyed to heaven westward, making the long passage to their burial ships, sailing across the river of death until they reached the farthest shore. There they are they are admitted to their separate estates by Osiris, god of death, according to the riches they have brought with them. I also learned of wicked men whose minds had darkened and forgotten the old ways, who plundered the old ones' tombs and took their riches, thus robbing them of their place in heaven westward. As a boy, I would often cry in the night at such thoughts, and fear of judgment of Osiris lodged in my heart. My father had built a tomb for himself to guard against just such wickedness. Yet only a few years after my father's death, there were whisperings that even his great burial place had been desecrated. I was tortured by thoughts of his spirit wandering forever, alone. Cloaked in the darkness of deepest night, I went to my father's tomb. No priest followed me to witness my trespass upon the world of the dead. I carefully slipped past the traps that barred the way when suddenly I came across his sarcophagus. I gazed through watery eyes at the broken clay pots that had contained the gold. The once jewel-encrusted hull of my father's ship was barren and scarred with gouges. I knew with certainty that he could not have approached the great Osiris in that mockery of a boat without so much as a humble clay token. In weakness and horror, I fell upon my father's sarcophagus and stared at the scarred wooden image of my father's face. It had once been covered with the purest of gold leaf. His golden staff of ruling was nowhere to be found. I lay myself upon the scarred surface to hide its imperfections, weeping great tears of fury. My torch went out, as too did the light within my soul. I emerged from the tomb as the sun arose. Clutching my own staff, I swore by all the gods that I would not be cheated of my place in heaven westward.
Thank you very much, Alex. So now you have the complete Tome of Amun-Re, Amun-Ra, whichever one it is.
I bow to the Holy Aseda and say thank you for giving us the opportunity to translate and understand more about Amun-Re, Amun-Ra.
If you are indeed the ones that Martek foresaw, then your success will and your mission will be more than enough to repay us all.
Can we open the statue now?
And I was gonna say, then I turn to Haig and I say, yes, now that we have completed the translation of this book, would you be so kind as to see if you can open the statue for us?
Come on, bro.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I think it hinges
And
forward.
all the pages have been added to Kenka, by the way. So they're all under notes.
Awesome. All right, so
with cross references to the book. I love cross references. They are my friend.
all right, so Haig is the one that's going to be opening it.
I think we're going to try to open from both sides. You said it looks like it hinged forward, correct?
It's hinged on the right-hand side. They're very well hidden, but, you know, after trying to figure out, well, this obviously looks like a seam. You felt it give a little way, and you're like, well, wait a minute. And, you know, you looked around and found the hinges. So basically, it looks like it's going to swing outwards to the right.
Outwards
But pushing
to the
on
right.
it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Gotcha. So it's going to swing towards Varric.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So
what are we
back
using
up.
to open it? Yeah. That guy's in my way. I'm just going to push him.
So basically, it's a door that pulls. You have to pull the door open.
Mm-hmm.
Got to follow the pull sign.
No, basically, yeah. I mean, his arms are kind of outstretched, so you know, if anyone fell into it or leaned into it, it wasn't going to go anywhere. But if you pull on his right arm, which would be on your left, then it would pull
Right.
open.
So pull
And
open.
sure
Okay.
enough, there's what appears to be an empty room behind the statue. And
Cool.
the Ayaseda and the dervishes also look at you guys like, how did you know that was there?
Do we have somebody who could check for traps?
Should I just turn to the guy and go again? No, I want to, but I won't.
Rub it in, rub it in, rub it in.
Red Dress asks, do we have someone in our party who can check for traps?
Well,
I mean,
did think
anybody
about
can check
shooting
for traps in
door.
5th edition, so it doesn't require a special ability.
Is it investigation?
Usually.
Or
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I got a +4 in my
Yeah.
investigation.
The
I got a
rule
plus.
of thumb. The rule of thumb is if you are just looking and listening, then it's perception. If you're actually going in and touching things and poking around with your hands or other things, then it's investigation. And usually when you're
Red Dress-
checking for traps, it's more investigation than it is just perception.
Red Dress would like to step up and do the investigation, actually check to see if there's any traps. If this is a new place we have not been before, we would definitely like to give it a good once-over to see if there's anything that's going to bite us if we go in there. Do you want me to roll that in the tower?
Yes. Well, did it again. Let's see.
The highest that was? I haven't played 12. I played it a little bit. I didn't play it. No.
An area 10 feet wide and 20 feet deep with an arched ceiling 10 feet tall and appears empty. But something doesn't seem right to Redreth.
Yeah.
Can I look in and cast Detect Magic?
And who was
With
that?
the speller. Varric?
Just casting it straight off or as a ritual?
I'll just cast it.
Okay. And yes, the entire room radiates magic.
So I'll let Redrith know that there's...
Just the back room, not the entire temple
Right.
that you've been in.
I'll tell Redrith that it's just glowing with magic. Magic everywhere.
So there's lots of magic in here.
And what did your investigation turn up? Anything?
No traps per se, but it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's tons of magic. Right. When you type in green, does that mean Kelly's like
Out of
saying
character.
that? Oh, okay.
No, green is out of character.
Okay. I couldn't remember which was which.
Red Dress
with Detect Magic, would I know what school of magic has been cast in the room?
Yes, you would. Give me a moment. I have to look that up. I'm pretty sure I know it, but I just want to be sure.
For sure.
Is Mizram the cat up with us, or is he off doing his own thing?
I think he's still licking his paws.
Yeah.
Wow. It is a conjuration aura.
Okay. I'll share that. I shared that when I told them of the magic, that there's conjuration magic all over the room. Did we determine whether or not the statue was Amun-Ra or somebody else?
Yeah, you're pretty sure it's Amun-Ra.
Okay.
Red Dress says, I wait because Redreth, being a wizard and a researcher, would know what conjuration magic means, or possibly might mean. He says chances are good it's not healing. So either it's going to call forth something bad, or there's a chance it might send us somewhere else.
I'm going to look at my brother with wide eyes, like, yeah.
And I'm going to say in giant, let's go in. And we're just going to
Redreth
walk
steps
in.
forward.
Let's go. Let's poke the bad one.
Yep, Redreth just walks to the end of the room.
The druid's just cleaning his paws, rubbing it on his head, getting behind his ears.
He might be out there by himself.
Yeah.
As he's walking through the door, Redreth just over his shoulder does, you know, the like the loud whistle, and says, "Here, kitty, kitty."
If the door's not open, I'll look at two guards and pour them, and hopefully the guards will open the door for me.
Actually, I'm going to
I
have you
think
roll.
the doors are all still open.
Miz, I'm going to
Yeah,
have you,
we left all the doors open.
but Miz, I'm going to have you roll a perception check. I want to make sure you can hear them. Just don't roll low.
And this, well, and we spent hours translating stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming
exactly.
that
So
we
he may
would
have fallen
you know,
asleep outside, you know.
right.
He hears you, and in comes Kitty with a very soaked paw. As a matter of fact, he's leaving wet paw prints on the ground. And incoming Kitty. Well, all right, so Redreth, you go into the room, you're looking around, you're checking the corners. I'll presume you're spending a decent amount of time looking around, but for all intents and purposes, it appears empty and nothing unusual happens. But Haig, the glow never goes away. Doesn't change or alter.
How about, does anybody have a dispel magic?
Yeah. Can anyone dispel this?
I do not have that. Would have been a
Liz,
nice
you got
thing to pick up, I suppose.
Liz, you got a dispel magic?
Who?
Liz.
Oh.
Miz, kitty kitty.
Oh, no, I do not.
Can Vark walk up and just touch one of the walls?
I don't see any reason why not.
Does anything happen when he just touches a wall? Does his hand pass through anything, or?
Nope. And walls are notably bare, unlike the ones in the temple area.
Anything on the ceiling?
What does the ceiling look like? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read that to you, but let's.
You didn't post it in chat, so I don't have it in my notes.
Yes. Actually, I don't have this little description in Fantasy Grounds yet. That's why I didn't. But it's just behind it is an area 10 feet wide, 20 feet deep, with an arched ceiling 10 feet tall.
Arched, okay.
And it's
Oh, I remember that.
It's empty, other
But
than the fact that it does emit a conjuration aura.
I can
No,
tell.
no emotional vibe from it. No freaky, whatever.
No.
I can definitely tell that some of you don't play Thieves that often. Has anybody thought of putting out a candle and just slowly take it along the walls to see if the flame flickers due to any secret doors.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Good idea,
I
man.
don't think any of us thought of that.
Very good thinking.
Does anybody have a candle or matches?
Yes.
Torches along the wall.
Oh yeah, we can just grab a torch.
Yeah, there are a few of them in the other room.
Yes, I'm stepping forward. Here, grab said torch. I'll go along the walls. Which one do you want me to roll?
Perception's probably most appropriate.
Any advantage due to the flickering of the torch?
Not really. You're just using that to detect something you wouldn't normally be able to, but. You don't see any disturbance in the air as you're walking around the perimeter of the room.
Okay. I'm gonna put the torch back.
Beyond that, that's caused by the motion of the torch itself.
Very good. Hang the torch back on the wall.
Okay.
Can we ask the priest if he knows anything about this room? Or are they completely oblivious to its existence?
Or if the priest has dispel magic. Ha.
They were excessively surprised when we opened the
Yeah.
statue. They were like,
That's true.
how did you know that would move?
Yeah, true that. Yeah, so they were completely oblivious.
Yep. So he did not know about the room back there, but he's guessing that it probably had something to do with, this is the statue of Amun-Re right in front of this area. And if it's a conjuration magic, it probably is the passageway through which Amun-Re would return to this plane.
Mm-hmm.
So can we
Just like
say,
the inscription says.
Redress simply simply says something to the effect of, Amun-Ra, you spoke to us out in the desert. Is there somewhere you would wish us to go through this room?
And you hear and notice nothing.
Okay.
That's selective communication.
I wonder if there's a hint to how to put a passive in what he said to us.
Oh, what he said to us out in the desert?
Yeah, there might be a hint to how to go further in what he said. It might not. I'm just trying to remember what he said from 2 weeks ago.
I can read it. I'm looking at it right now, actually.
I just want to make sure that all you are aware also that there are 2 doors here, right?
Yep.
Oh, to the
back
side?
in the temple?
Yes, right there.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, but
Yeah, those are doors. Sorry if they are not clear, but they should be pretty obvious to you inside the room.
Redress asks Haig or Varric to pull the statue back into place and see if that trips anything.
okay.
With us in here.
Well, while you're inside the room?
Yeah.
They're going to do a Harry Houdini. And voila, my assistant has disappeared.
Just to see if anything happens if the door needs to be closed for anything to happen.
So, Varric, you're closing the door, pushing the
Sure.
statue back.
Sure, yeah.
Statue falls back into place very smoothly, seamlessly.
Hold on, as the statue's closing, it's getting dark, and I'm going to say, "What, wait," and I'm going to go grab that torch again.
Okay, good idea.
I can also do dancing lights if needed.
The statue does not move effortlessly. It does require a little bit of force, but obviously it was meant to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens?
You go back into the room with the torch. He closes the statue door. Room lighting changes a little bit, but otherwise nothing different, nothing new.
Any inscriptions on the back side of the statue? Any inscriptions anywhere in the room?
None.
Redrith shrugs and says, "Okay, I guess this is the exit. Then let's go explore the other rooms."
Okay. What's up, yo?
Is that the door we're going through first then?
I don't know.
I was just staying with Haig.
I've gone ahead and unlocked tokens, so you guys can move freely for now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, let's go over to the left door there. And as I come out of the back room, I turn to Asada and says, "We'd like to explore the rest of this temple to see if there is any other hints that can help us when we go into the pyramid and attempt to retrieve your brethren."
He looks back at you and says, "Well, it is our hope that you will not violate any of the artifacts and relics within, but we wish you well on your journey, and may you be successful in finding Amun-Ra's staff and his star gem."
Yes, yeah, Redrith specifically points that out. He says, "Yes, we specifically were asked by Amun-Ra to remove the staff and star gem from the tomb. So we will be, if we come across those, we will be taking those and asking him where they should go."
It is Osiris's will that those treasures be removed so that the valley may be restored. But please be reminded that theft of anything else from this temple or that pyramid will not be treated kindly.
Redrith nods while thinking, "Okay, we'll see about that."
How about we do the Aladdin reference, and the monkey turns towards Asada, and stealing the ruby gem.
Your eyes get really big.
Being a paladin, and the reference to wicked men taking things, Vark's going to be pretty against taking anything. Just because.
Yeah. That's fair.
Other than what we came to do, because, as a tribal people, death rights and everything are a big deal. So he's like, no, we're not going to, at least he's like, I'm not going to mess with any of it.
On the bright side, if a flying carpet starts following us, I'm not going to deter it.
Well, yeah.
Flying carpet
Just
would
saying.
be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It would be killer.
I'm not sure it could hold all of us, though. Plus our camels.
Yeah,
But hey, we wouldn't need all the supplies if we could fly back to Bralazar and get our resupply and then fly back out again. That'd be awesome. Anyway, so we'll head right up these stairs.
High enough off the land where we could see miles away and be like, oh, that's where we're going.
Right.
Everything's quite easier.
Yeah, that's true. As we're coming in here, Redrith will send a command to his owl and have it come in and perch on his shoulder.
Ooh. Good thinking, Lincoln.
Yes.
Cool.
No. No jumping on me.
Nice.
This circular room is 40 feet in diameter. In the center of the room's west side stands a large white marble altar. Behind the altar, a large statue of a man carved from greenish stone stares down with eyes that have jeweled pupils. I have to double check that. That appear to have jeweled pupils. That's what this was. You notice also so you descend down a set of steps into this room, and to the north you see that there is a passageway that continues along with a door to the left-hand side there.
I'm going to investigate the altar and the
Yep,
statue.
Redruth would do the same.
There is no natural light in here. Keep that in mind.
Dancing lights, I'll put them all up around the ceiling.
I think I'm still carrying the torch for when we pulled it behind or closed the statue shut.
Okay. This statue is not like the other ones that you've seen before. This one seems even more regal. And actually, here, let me check something quick.
That was a lot of dice.
Mizram, shoot.
A 1 is a 7.
Okay.
Time and try to figure out what the 7 is.
What's the command to whisper again, Alex?
/W, or just right click on the portrait and choose whisper.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the easier way. That's what I was typing. All right, and let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, the gems in the statue's eye sockets are red and very, very reflective. Big shinies.
Any inscriptions or anything in the room?
Nope, no inscriptions, no nothing else.
I'm curious to notice if the pupils seem to move, if the eyes of the statue seem to track our motion.
Also, the detect magic spell lasts 10 minutes. What does Eric see?
He spent time searching for secret doors in there after you did the detect magic, so that
okay.
Expired.
Yeah.
Do you want me to follow up with a perception or on the eyes of the statue? Or no?
I will slowly trot downstairs into the room and sit at the statue and put one paw on it and go, meow. And then just keep paw slapping it.
Oh no, not again.
Well, it's a good thing there's not any goblets or anything on the table, on the altar.
Yeah, I guess that is.
It looks like the statue's hand is extended. Is it holding anything?
Nope. Well, actually, yeah, it's holding one of those hook staffs that you usually see Egyptian pharaohs holding.
Okay. So the eyes are reflective. Do they appear to be moving or anything like that?
No, nothing more. I mean, they're star rubies, so the star moves with you, but the eyes themselves aren't.
Okay.
Is that a hole in the center of the table?
Alex, we definitely need to get together. I want you to be able to have your maps working again for next week. I feel you, but I'm glad we can at least provide something in between. Though maybe I need to send you another monitor.
I don't know. I blame my internet connection.
It definitely seems strange, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. All right, so you're going up there, so you want to see the rest of what's up here.
Did you get my question about is that a hole in the center of the altar?
Not really a hole, but it just like a like an incense plate or something like that, just like an offering vessel.
Gotcha.
Stuff probably even was burned in it at one time, but at the moment there's just, you know, minor char marks and stuff. So Kayla, you notice that the corridor turns to the right after, what is that, 10, 20, 30 feet? But you know what else? At this point, Kayla, you will notice that from around that corner and slightly above, there's definitely light coming from around that corner, and it seems to be quite bright.
Interesting. Poke my head around the corner. Like, take a step forward.
Not that corner, the one all the way up. That's a door that you're standing next to right now.
Okay, fine. Then, sorry, like I said, navigating this is kind of difficult.
No problem. Okay, so as you come around there,
poke my head around the corner then.
yep, you can see a large room through there. Just give me a moment, I'll highlight or expose. And basically what you can tell is coming from, as you turn the corner, daylight is coming in from the north side there. So obviously morning has broke at this point.
Okay. That's fine. Interesting to know. We did spend several hours translating that book, so.
Yes.
Yep. I think there's more to the statue.
And then it looks like the corridor continues down past that a little further, but it looks like there's another set of stairs going down from there. So you're not really going to be able to see beyond that.
Okay.
Red Dress pushes open the doors that he's next to here.
Yeah, I was going to do the same thing, Jim. Walk by the door and just kind of creak it open a couple inches and look inside.
And yeah, and assuming it's dark in there, I'll take my at least a couple of the dancing lights and send them into the room too.
So Redruth opens the door there and finds that the room, 20 foot wide by 40 foot long, appears to have been neglected for years. It gives off a slight herbal smell, but appears empty.
Okay. Well, yeah, except for the sugar crash, right? That bread is so good, though.
Kaylee, the room that you're looking at, though, north side of this room is 30 feet across, and the room is 20 feet deep to the south. It keeps happening. To the
Hold on, I want to hear about this room.
and west, at the northern end of the sidewalls, stairs lead down to corridors. Light falls through an open archway in the center of the north wall. Sometimes the text translation doesn't do a very good job. So I'm gonna
No, it doesn't.
repost that with the corrected text.
Okay, that's better. Okay. It's almost 2:00 right now, which is about when we tend to stop. And I'm having trouble staying awake.
I'm sorry. Actually, we usually do go another hour past this.
I was
Alex?
gonna say, yeah, didn't we go till 3? But
Did we?
Yeah, we usually do 4-hour sessions since we're only doing it every 2 weeks.
I'm having trouble staying awake.
Well, it's up to the crew what they want to do then.
it's raining
like
here.
to
I'm
get around-
perfectly good to keep going.
If we want to pick up the pace a little bit, I'm okay with that too. If that's better for you, or if it is it a pace thing for you, Alex, or is it?
No, it's a I didn't sleep good. I was awake too long yesterday without enough sleep, and then I had to wake up in the middle of my sleep cycle again.
Is it what does it do for you, Keith? Does it benefit you to have a little bit of backup material? I'm good either way. That's
I believe I have enough to keep us going for a little while longer. We're not at the end. I have at least. Yeah, honestly, you should be able to finish up what this map if you want to, regardless of which way you want to go. I have content for it. So
all right. Well,
I don't need any more time. It's entirely up to what you guys want to do. I'm willing to take a break.
Yeah, however you guys want to do it, I'm good either way.
Same.
Yeah, so if Alex is feeling that tired and you guys are all willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, then I say, yeah, let's push it about 5 or 10 more minutes, and then we can call it.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks.
I think just in terms of giving you guys an idea what you're going to be looking at next week, it's worth it for us to go just a little bit further.
Okay.
2 weeks.
Does that work for you, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. At least until you get to the next decision point, which shouldn't be too far, but something to think about.
I'd like to at least connect back to the room before going north, what faces north at this moment.
So there's nothing in that room that I was looking at. It's all completely empty.
Just smells good.
So.
Peek around the corner.
Yep. As you peek around the corner, you notice that the archway opens into the courtyard between the tomb and the surrounding wall. Well-worn path, 15 to 20 feet above the courtyard, leads straight from this doorway across the intervening 50 feet to the base of the pyramid. Here, a stairway leads to an opening 50 feet up the south face of the pyramid. So this is obviously the way to the pyramid.
Okay. So that's where we will be wanting to go soonish. but not necessarily right now. So let's finish crossing the room.
Yeah, I'm tracking with her too.
All right, so from there, Kale, you can see the rest of that corridor.
Okay. You could adjust the map on the Zoom screen.
There we go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go take a peek around the corner. If I can grab the token instead of the map.
Yeah, that thwarts me a lot too.
One second.
I think that, I can't tell, is that a door?
Yep, door with a handle.
Try the door, see if it opens.
It's a mimic door.
I know, right?
The door opens to a small temple, 30 feet across, east to west, and 20 feet deep, north to south. There is a door in the center of the south wall, and another at the east end of the north wall, which you are looking through. Within this dark and smoky room, a dull red glow is visible from a pile of burning incense in the center of the room. Against the west wall stands a statue of a pharaoh, his hands forming an altar platform 5 feet above the floor. Prostrate on the ground in front of the statue is a human. Let's see, hold on a second.
Where's the red glow?
I think that's
Yeah, I'm going to beckon to Haig and Redruth, since they seem to have followed me. And I don't want to go into the room first because I don't know what he's
Redruth.
going to do.
Redruth, absolutely. will.
Found a room with a
You
person
died.
there.
Roll it into character.
I cleared the combat tracker so that there isn't too much stuff on here.
But there was a something? Okay, I'm coming running. Sorry, I had to go mitigate chitlins.
Read the last paragraph in the chat box and you'll be up to speed.
I'm just exploring, and you know, I got to a point where I might have to actually interact with people, and so I beckoned you forward to do that sort of thing instead.
Hey, I just realized a new feature in the Fantasy Grounds. When you move stuff to Combat Tracker, it now automatically locks tokens.
Oh.
I want to say it's a setting.
It might
you can
be.
change that.
I like it. I'm not complaining about it because I know I keep forgetting to do it, but I noticed that, you know, we had it set, and then as soon as I added something to the tracker, it immediately asked, gave me the reminder that I got to approve it.
Yeah.
So I think now that you have a situation to consider, this is probably a good point to break it, and you guys can think about what you want to do when we start our session and resume our session in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna ask
Fireball.
again how you felt about poking something. The only reason I ask is because it would be cool for Tyler to see how combat works, but that's totally up to you. He's not in the room at the moment, so.
Well, hopefully you found this somewhat interesting. Yeah, I mean, there was an opportunity for combat, but yeah, I think you guys were probably better off not engaging, at least at this point.
We just shut the door and I stick my hand in and cast Fireball.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We're trying to like not make enemies here.
Or wipe out a nearly extinct people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably would.
Potentially.
Details. Minor details.
Not very nice to call them stinky people, Matt.
Huh?
For record keeping purposes, there's the date and time that we're ending on the game, at least for now. So yeah, we covered a night's worth of adventuring.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm gonna log off and go back to bed or something.
Well, glad you made it to join us this morning, Alex. Let's see. When do you want to try to get together and see if we can fix your mapping issue?
I don't know. My sleep schedule's a little screwy right now, and
Get some
between that
rest.
and
Get some
mom
rest.
and dad.
Get some rest. Get your wits about you, and hit me up in Discord as to when will be good. I'm generally good, okay, in evenings. What time zone are you in again? You're Central.
Eastern.
You are Eastern. Okay, so any time after 9 p.m. your time should be fine. Is that okay? Is that
Cool.
that?
That should work.
Okay, if you need something earlier in the morning, then try to hit me up between 9 and 11 your time.
Okay. I can do that.
And then we'll
I
see.
will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Take it easy.
And yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you before then. Any other questions or anything else, gang, before we go?
How many uses do you get out of one block of incense? Is it just a one-off use, or do you get like 4 or 5 uses?
That's a kind of a good question. I guess you could break it down into smaller amounts if you really needed to conserve it, but I would presume one block is for one ritual.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
Because generally you just put the block in, light it, and let it burn until it goes out, kind of like we would a modern cone or an incense stick.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's just for it. I've got the censer and then the incense, and then I'm still stuck in the circular room.
What can they do with this thing?
Yeah.
Just a reminder, this there's incense is burning in this room, and there's someone worshiping the censer that the statue is holding. So this one does appear to be of Amun-Ra, but it is definitely cut from a different mold than the other statues.
Interesting.
And hence why he has the altar platform. So you can think about what you want to do with this other dude that's obviously got himself
sequestered away.
Yeah, by himself, worshiping his pharaoh. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop.